All right, I'm Valdewar for Cage Side Press here with Bellator fourth-ranked middleweight contender, the undefeated Dalton Rosta, who's taking on sixth-ranked Aaron Jeffery at Bellator 298 on Friday, August 11th next week. So Dalton, how are you, man? Good camp?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. So the big thing is obviously this fight seems to be a title eliminator. You know, Eblen versus Edwards is up next for the belt, so the winner of this fight would seem to be in like pole position to fight the winner of that fight. Have you heard that or been given any guarantees of that by Scott Coker or anyone at Bellator?
No. So I'm just treating it like another fight, and I have another fight left on my contract after this, and I'd like to fight before the year's end. So we'll figure it out after this, but as of right now, I'm just treating it like another fight.
Keep the pressure low.
Pressure's always low, man.
Chill guy.
Yes, sir.
Um, so yeah, I mean, but if that is the next fight, how do you think you match up against each of them?
Against
Eblen and Fabian
yeah,
Edwards,
yeah,
yeah.
against Fabian Edwards, I'd kill him. Uh, Against Johnny's style is very good. He has a good gas tank. It'd be a tough fight, and
Yeah.
we're teammates. We train with each other. We have wars, in sparring. We fight, and they're good rounds. So I don't know. That's the toughest fight in the division, in my opinion, for me and for him. And hopefully we're teammates. Hopefully we don't have to fight each other,
Yeah,
and we can continue training with each other and making each other better. But I can't tell the future. There's a lot of moving parts.
definitely. But Fabian Edwards, do you think you kill him? Is it just
Yeah,
like wrestling
absolutely.
deficiencies on his end, you think? Or
No, I mean even striking. He's a good striker and he's long, but shit he does is pretty basic. So I think there's a lot of that can be exploited, and mixing everything up. This is MMA. If I were to fight him, I'm not just going to wrestle him, but I'm also not just going to strike. So, and I say that now, but then I could go into the fight and then just fucking strike or just wrestle. Who knows? Shit always fucking changes. So, but I think either way, I'd be, you know, good in that fight. Be great.
were you impressed with his performance against Gegard though? Because a lot of people didn't expect him to look that good against someone
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Gegard.
yeah. I was. I'm not gonna lie. I was really impressed. So, but at the same time, Gegard, Gegard's good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a legend in the sport. He has a lot of experience, but he's it seems like he's a slow starter, and um, it just doesn't seem like he has that killer instinct anymore.
I think he's a bit past his prime.
He definitely past his prime, but that doesn't mean anything. He's still a great fighter,
Hmm.
but I just think there's things missing.
So next month in Dublin is that fight, Eblen versus Edwards, and you have some bias probably towards Johnny Eblen, but I mean, with what you've said, would I be right in assuming you'd think Eblen was going to win that fight?
Yeah, I think Johnny's gonna walk through him. So I think he could finish him or take a decision, whatever's in Johnny's head that night, whatever Johnny wants to do. If Johnny wants to torture him, he could torture him for 5 rounds. Johnny wants to finish him, he could finish him. I don't see it going any other way,
Yeah.
unless Fabian were to land like a lucky head kick or some shit like that.
It's MMA, anything can happen, but yeah. All right, so Aaron Jeffery, he's had some issues dealing with wrestling and grappling in the past, and you train at a kind of a wrestling gym. Um, all four of his losses were against guys who were able to take him down, heavy wrestlers like Sean Brady, um, Brendan Allen, guys like that. Is that the biggest hole in his game, you think, and one you can maybe exploit? I mean, I know you can't give anything away now, but
He has holes everywhere, man. That's one of them, obviously, but he leaves his body wide open. He has a very high guard, and it like a boxing guard almost. He leaves his body wide open. His legs are there to be kicked. Uh, he's very square in his stance, so it's he's creating a bigger target, and he's very hittable. Up top, he comes forward. He does all this little fidgety movement, but he's not really moving his head offline much. So he still gets hit and clipped with a lot of things. And sometimes he's landing as he's getting hit, but he's still taking a lot of shots. So really, I whatever approach I choose to take, I don't see where I'm going to have a problem in this fight. You know, he likes to try and hold people against the cage and dirty box against the cage, you know, punch, knee, elbow. Good luck holding me there. You know, good luck stuffing my takedown if I choose to do that. Good luck, you know, keeping up with my speed. Good luck keeping up with my strength and my power. It's just, you know, I think it's going to be a great night for me.
Those are fighting words. It's a fighting sport. So yeah. So like no love lost between you guys. You like, I mean, I'm not getting the vibe that you hate the guy or anything, but like a bit of hardcore rivalry going on here. Not like if you fought Johnny Eblen, who you're like friends with.
No, I know rivalry at all. I don't know the dude. I don't care for him. I don't, you know, hate him. Nothing. But I'm going in there to fight him. I'm not being friends with the dude. I'm going in there to take his head off. And I just know that I'm a better fighter. Everything that I'm saying is just based off the truth. I'm just speaking as to how we match up. It has nothing to do with his character. It has nothing to do with his personality. It has nothing to do with him as a fighter. I'm just a better fighter, and that's plain and simple. So there's no other way around it.
All right, gotcha. So one thing I wanted to ask is Hercules. How'd you get that nickname? A lot of times nicknames are given to you, you don't choose them. Someone give you that?
Yeah. So I started off boxing. Actually, I started off boxing in Elwood City, but when I started boxing in Youngstown, I switched to a trainer in Youngstown. I was going down to this gym. It's just called Downtown Boxing Club, and there was a lot of old timers down there. One of them was actually Muhammad Ali's old sparring partner. And my first day down there, I was hitting the pads with Sam Caldrone, who was my boxing coach at the time. And usually, like when somebody's cracking the pads hard or looks good on the pads or fast, you know, everybody like kind of like stops like working out and just like watching. And after my first round hitting the pads, I look around and everybody's like surrounding the ring watching me hit pads. So then the next round, I'm hitting pads again, and then people are making comments. And there's this guy named I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
Happens.
Yeah, but I mean, I've told this story before. I just don't know why it's been so long. But anyways, he just started. He's like, "That's Herc, that's Hercules," and he just called me Herc, and he started calling me that every day. And sooner or later, you know, after a couple of weeks, everybody in the gym was calling me Herc, was calling me Hercules. So that's how I got my nickname.
And that's the guy was Muhammad Ali's sparring partner? Or
Yeah,
different? Okay.
yeah,
That's
and I
sick.
don't know. That's exactly why I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name. It's actually really bothering me right now.
Either way, that's sick.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I'm not going to be able to think of it, but I can't believe I forgot his name.
Uh, so you're still pretty young in your career. You have like a lot of time ahead of you, but is there anyone like in your, obviously there's Gegard in the division, but there's a lot of legends out there. Is there one dream fight for you in the rest of your career that you like specifically have, like you want to take this guy out?
I mean, I'd love to fight Israel Adesanya, but he's in the UFC. So
Yeah.
as of now, that fight can't happen. But besides that, no, not really.
How do you think you match up against Izzy?
I would just take him down. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to, like, for example, Yoel Romero has the wrestling pedigree to take him down, but he sat there and tried striking with him. Robert Whitaker, he's not the greatest wrestler, but he has the wrestling capability of taking Israel Adesanya down and then take him down. Everybody tried striking with him. You know, Paulo Costa's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's a strong guy. I'm sure he probably could have taken him down. John Blachowicz took him down, and John's not a good wrestler. You've seen he struggled to take Pajeda down just this past weekend. It's not a good wrestler. So, I mean, the blueprint's there.
And hey, Rob did take him. He couldn't hold him down, but in that second fight, Rob did take him down a bit. So outside of fighting, what are some hobbies you do for fun? Just things to relax when you're not training.
So I like to go hunting in the wintertime back home in Pittsburgh. Um, I like going hiking. I like riding my motorcycle, like shooting guns. I got a few guns, AR-15, 500 mag. I got 30-06, 25-06. I got a SIG P365 X Macro. So I got a few toys. I like playing video games, like hanging out with my boys. Boating. Trying to think of anything else. That's about it, man.
So two things off of that. So my family's from Pittsburgh. Myself, you a big Steelers fan?
Oh yeah, big Stoche fan. I don't know how I left that out. football.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love going to football games, love watching football. Um, that was my first love growing up.
Yeah, I mean, it's my first memory ever is like watching Cordell Stewart against the Patriots in the playoffs when I was like 3 years old, man.
I was about to say, how old are you?
I'm
That
26.
was yeah, that was a long time ago, man.
Yeah. Yeah, just born and bred. But hey, I'm trying to get a training camp soon. It's in full swing now. And then so video games, which like what are your favorite video games?
Right now, I play Modern Warfare 2, Fortnite, Halo, Gears of War. I mean, those are the main games I play. But so I got a PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, the new one. So I pretty much just got the Xbox Series X just so I could play Halo, Gears of War, and then it's backwards compatible. So I play like Black Ops 1 on it still because servers are still up, and people still get online. And I play MW2 as well. There's a lot of people online, so it's not hard to get in the lobbies.
Yeah.
So I play those games a lot, and then occasionally I'll play like fighting games, Dragon Ball Z, Mortal Kombat, Injustice, UFC, stuff like that.
Awesome. So is there any one fighter specifically that you would credit with getting you into MMA, getting you into doing this sport?
No, not one specific fighter, but whenever I was a kid growing up, I've always I've always gravitated towards fighting. I got in a lot of street fights as a kid. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to. The neighborhood I grew up in, I was getting picked on a lot, or I was forced into fighting and shit like that. And then, it was just I've always liked wrestling. I've always liked boxing. I've always liked watching fighting. Whether it was movies or cartoons, whatever. So my dad put me in I was wrestling whenever I was 6, and he put me in jujitsu when I was 10, and then he put me in boxing when I was 11. So I was dabbling in a little bit of everything. I'm sorry, 12 for the jujitsu. But whenever I started jujitsu at my dojo that I was going to, there was a kid there named Hank who used to have whenever the UFC fights were on, he would have everybody from the dojo come over to watch the fights, including our instructor and everything. And we'd always go over and watch. And I was back then we were watching, Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mears, and the Liddell versus the Ortiz, and the Lyoto Machida and John Jones and shit like that. So all those fights come to mind in particular, but no fighter or one fight in particular that really made me want to fight. It's just something I always wanted to do.
Is there one that's your favorite? Like you were watching those guys back then, Chuck Liddell. Who's your favorite?
Who's my favorite fighter?
Or some of your favorite fighters to watch?
My favorite fighter growing up was probably John Jones, and then Conor McGregor whenever he broke on the scene, and then now my favorite fighter would probably be tough one. There's a lot of good fight. The 155-pound division is just good. Period. They put on a lot of good fights. Chandler versus Gaethje, Gaethje versus Poirier twice. Charles versus both of them, or all three of them, I should say. Yeah. So that division is probably my favorite division to watch, just because they always have bangers. And then Joanna is always banging it out. Zhang Weili. Yeah, I would say the 155-pound weight class in particular is probably my favorite, but there's no one fighter that I would say is my favorite right now.
Yeah, I feel that little round robin of violence there at 155. It's some of the best. All right, so I'm gonna let you get out of here, but before I mean, you say you can beat him pretty much anywhere. Can I get a prediction? What round do you think you get it done in?
I think either first round knockout or second round. I think I hurt him in the first, and I think I can get him out of there in the first. But if he's durable enough, which I've seen he is durable, that's one thing I would give him credit for. I think I can get him out of there in the second.
All right. Hey, well, I appreciate it, and good luck.